Hey guys, this is Issues with Pt.1 Skip, and I am Pt.1 Skip, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. I appreciate it. For everybody that's liked, subscribed, and commented, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you'd continue to do so, please, 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 thank you so much. So this is the video that you've been waiting for. We're just going to jump in on it. I'm not going to tell you anything more than you'll see how I've decided to do the video. I hope it will make sense this way. We'll figure it out. This is excerpts of Rabbit Hole News, the Rabbit's conversation with Aaron. Let's go.
I want you to breathe and take your time. Just breathe.
I'm trying. Okay. You're talking about the 5-year thing and my marriage thing.
Whatever you can get into, sir. I mean, like I said, Aaron, right? Whatever you can get into. I don't want to put any words in your mouth or anything.
Yeah. So, okay, caveat here. I'm very short on sleep, and I'm just gonna. I'm probably not in the best headspace, but we're gonna do all this anyway. Okay. Everything I have been blackmailed about over the last 5 years, everything I've tried, people have tried to humiliate me or shame me for, is, and that I've never defended myself on, has been out of a respect of my wife's privacy. Okay.
Yeah.
So about 5 years ago, and honestly, I don't know whether it's 4 or 5, because with COVID, my whole sense of time is totally screwed up. Meaning that it just I'm not talking about the after effects of COVID. I mean, the having a year thrown in the trash has messed up my sense of time. But in that paragraph, when I said, I was basically apologizing for how careless I've been the last 5 years. That reference to 5 years was referred to the fact that about 5 years ago, my wife and I sat down and basically said, this is insane. Like, we are fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Now, it was me really sitting us down. And I said, I'm not going to keep living like this. We are miserable. We have nothing in common. We barely enjoy each other's company.
Oh.
And we said, and we both know that if we did not have kids, we would have been divorced 5 times already. And she goes, that's true. That's true. I mean, honestly, and here's the thing. People are going to go, oh my God, it's so terrible. Oh my God, it's so terrible. Guys, my wife and I got married after knowing each other for like 3 months 20 years ago.
Oh,
This
man.
is not a sad tale. We should get a medal for keeping our nuclear family together for 20 years.
Yeah.
We got married in the Sea Org. We met in the Sea Org. And by the way, the only reason it took us 3 months to get married is because her seniors wouldn't approve her to marry me until I disconnected from my father. So like we would, if it were not for that, we would have gotten married after knowing each other for 3 weeks. Because that's the Sea Org. We didn't even know. You don't even know a person after 3 weeks. You don't know a person after 3 months.
No.
Hmm.
Wow.
Now, due to the nature of, when you want to leave the Sea Org, you're not allowed to talk to your spouse about wanting to leave the Sea Org. And, it's really hard to think about this, but, the way my wife and I got out of the Sea Org without it being very, very difficult to leave is she was pregnant. My wife and I never even had a conversation where we agreed we were going to get pregnant.
Yeah.
We were so having to follow the rules of the Sea Org and follow the rules of Scientology that, I mean, obviously, in order to get pregnant, it requires cooperation. But imagine not being allowed to have a conversation with your spouse about we're going to do this, right?
Absolutely.
Hey guys, so right away you saw the way that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna ask questions and hope that we can think about it, and then I'm gonna try to address the questions. So the thing was, who is blackmailing? Is the blackmailing that Aaron didn't want anybody to know that he was separated from his wife, or at the that him and his wife were going through the separation? Was that the secret? Because if that was the thing that he was afraid that we weren't gonna know, I only know that from Aaron saying it immediately when he was talking about the 4 to 5 years. The 4 to 5 years meant nothing until he said what it meant. It was just a blanket of time. I've talked about that. And what were they blackmailing? Was it your behavior? Was it that they were going to say that you were really separated? I still don't understand the shame in that, but I'm not going to tell somebody they shouldn't feel that shame. Right off the bat, he talks about his wife's privacy. What I don't understand is if you're acting like, if you and your wife have an understanding that you guys are living separate lives, and nobody else knows that except your really, really close friends, then when you're going outside in the place that you live, in the area that you live, where your children live as well, and you didn't want them to know anything, I'm trying to understand how it's okay to say, well, I sent that woman a bunch of emails because she was fucking hot, when you tell the police that. I'm going right in on it, because we are going to talk about that video too, because there's a totally different story going on there. But I mean, what I'm saying is, if you want to keep this so private, why aren't you hooking up with people maybe in a different town? You know, why are you doing it in the small town and then expecting everybody to keep that secret with you or for you? I don't understand that. That I don't understand. And it might not be any of my business, but I didn't know anything until I was brought in on it by listening to something publicly that Aaron put out there. So right off the bat, I don't understand that. And they had a very successful marriage. 20 years, come on, that's successful in today's standards, and I'm not joking about that. And he gives his wife a lot of credit, and he should get credit. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. If your children love you, and that's the way that they love you, and by the way, is this how your children found out, Aaron, that you guys were separated or living separate lives? Because I would think that you would reach out to them right before you said it to us, and they watched it, because I think that was a live video you put out there. So I would hope that. And are you going to blame YouTube in the situation to why you had to tell your children? Because that wouldn't be true. That wouldn't be true. Okay, and we're going to talk more about that as well. So, but what I'm saying is, you had a successful marriage. That's great. If you could have had a successful separation, trust me, that would have been great too. Again, I don't know how you do that in your own town. But there's a lot of kids, unfortunately, that have one night stands or two night stands, and they end up pregnant, and they end up trying to make their lives go together and last, and they try to build something together. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And some people are successful and sometimes they're not. I understand that there was something very different in Aaron's life, and that was being in the cult. I don't know how. I can't understand that. But it cannot be an excuse to everything. It can't be the reason for everything, because he's been out of the cult for a while. Aaron, you've been out of the cult for a while. You know good behavior and bad behavior. And we're going to call you on some of that here. So we're going to continue on.
And I and everyone in my life knows that I don't cheat on my wife. We're separated. Okay. And Mike, Mike and Mark knew that. Now, Claire didn't know that because I guess Mike and Mark chose not to tell their wives about Aaron's marital situation. And when all this stuff, I'm jumping ahead because I haven't told everyone what happened in Los Angeles. Okay. Oh, because you asked me what was the deal with that paragraph.
Yes.
For the last 5 years, I've basically been living the life of a bachelor. And to be perfectly honest, I've been somewhat careless about how I go about doing that.
Okay.
And I've put myself in situations where people can try to embarrass me or humiliate me.
I'm so glad that I started there, because then that would make sense as far as whatever you want to do in your own personal life.
Yeah, right.
It is interesting you say that, because even as somebody that was giving commentary, the emails, and I'm sure I'm not the only creator that made commentary that might have received emails about Aaron this, Aaron that, and Aaron this. And I'm like, I don't know. And I don't really care, because it's not about him being on this board and helping people and bringing awareness. That is separate. So I'm glad that you clarified that portion of the email for me and everyone else.
That's right. That's right.
My goodness.
Now, it doesn't bother me when Scientology tries to humiliate me. Well, let's be honest, it does bother me, but I don't feel compelled to do something about it because nobody cares what Scientology says or does.
Okay.
But when people are supposed to be my friends, and when people who know that this is something I'm probably not going to talk about want to publish information about, through innuendo, making it seem like I am engaged in what was the word they used? Not misbehavior. They said in May 2023 we received a report of Aaron's unethical conduct or something.
Complaints, something like that. And so then so that wouldn't be for the board. That would be, is that your personal life?
Yeah. Yes. People have assumed, because these guys keep talking about unethical conduct and because they're kicking me off of a board because of it, people have assumed, is Aaron stealing foundation money?
That's what people were saying.
He says something about Mike and Mark not telling their wives about his separation from his wife. He could have told Mike and Mark. I don't think that it was really Mike or Mark's place to tell Claire unless Aaron told them to, because I have not told my partners in the past, one at a time partner, I'm okay, but there's been more than one, just not at the same time. So I have not told anybody my friend's business, because that's my friend's business. And especially if they're friends with them, they can tell them. So that, I just got to say, that goes both ways. I don't understand. I don't know the relationship really there, but I wouldn't be telling my friend's business, especially if my friend was friends with my partner. This is getting all screwy. Anyway, let's continue on. So again, we're going to talk a little bit about personal time and what that is. We're going to really, that's going to, I think, be plain and clear at the end, or as plain and clear and simple as I can get to it at the towards the end of the video, when we start seeing behavior that is done publicly, even though it's off hours. What is off hours for a board member? Because they don't go to work certain times. So what is off hours for them? Every single time is their personal time? Anyway, I don't know how that works. We're gonna see some stuff. Anyway, so then we hear Aaron use the word innuendo. So what he's saying is that he's interpreting, or he's getting the idea what they're saying. He's taking, like they're suggesting to him, when they use the blanket statement 4 to 5 years, we are specifically talking about your separation and we're going to let the world know about it. I still don't understand how that connects. I still don't get that. And it's not that I'm not trying to. I just don't get it. Later on, I don't know if I have this in the excerpts. Aaron talks about how him and his wife have discussed now they're going to divorce. And, you know, I don't know if he didn't put this out there so that he could approach his wife and say, I think we should divorce now. Everybody knows. I mean, I couldn't help it. They forced me into it. I still don't see where anybody forced him into telling us that he was living separate lives than his wife. A video had come out from the Clearwater police. I didn't know anything about it. And if I would have seen that video, I would have been, what the hell is going on? The guy's married. What a dog. Because that's the impression you gave everybody, that you were married. You know? So I still don't understand how that came about. Like, and regardless of how it came about, is it not true that it came about from your own behavior? Are we going to own that, or what? We're going back into more stuff. I just wanted to pop my head in here so that you guys still remembered it was my video. No, I wanted to pop my head in here because this is the way that I'm going to do this. I said on this video. So got to make light of some situations. All right, guys, so let's listen again.
But operationally speaking, Luis and I did absolutely everything for like the first 4 years. Social media, emails, phone calls, absolutely everything. So we didn't care about the board diversity representation. They were only there to vote yes or no whenever we needed to approve a disbursement of money. That's what they were there for, right?
Gotcha.
And it was that. And they
You've
chose
been
to
transparent.
pretend.
You've been transparent about your situation to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone in my life knows about my marital situation.
Okay.
Here's the problem. Not everyone in my wife's life knows about our marital situation. And it is only out of respect for her privacy that I've never discussed this in my videos. Because why the hell would I? Even when Scientology has stuff up on the website about me, about Aaron cheats on his wife, I've never said anything. I don't care what Scientology says about me.
Let's talk about LA. Are you ready?
Okay, good. Here's the long and the short of it. There's a girl who showed up to court. Basically, there's this girl I hooked up with in LA. She spent a few nights with me. Okay. The third night she spent with me, by the morning, like when she would not let me sleep. Okay, now I already knew that previously, but by the way, it wasn't 3 consecutive nights. I was probably in LA for about a month. I'd have to look at it wasn't 3 consecutive nights. It was just 3 different nights. Okay. The last morning, I was like, I have to sleep. Like, can you please stop talking? I don't know what's wrong. She just had this thing. She doesn't stop talking. And I don't mean that in some funny cliche way. I mean, whatever is going on with her, she has this constant monologue. Okay. I said, I have to get some sleep. Please. Can you please just please stop talking so I can sleep? And she wouldn't. And I said, please, if I have to be in court in like 3 hours. If you're not going to let me sleep, can you please just leave? Like, I just need
What
you
was
to
the
leave.
time frame that this happened? I'm kind of curious.
This is maybe 6 a.m. But at this point,
like, how long ago did this happen?
This was May 18th.
Okay.
Okay.
Giving some time reference.
May 18th. I believe the jury was still in deliberations. I can't recall. Yeah. Okay. The jury was still deliberating at this time. And I just, please, I have to sleep. Can you please leave? Now, instead of just leaving, she decided to trash the hotel room and assault me physically and try to destroy the place. And at one point, I can't remember if it was before she started trying to break things or after, she sat on my chest and said, God. Well, if I'm never going to see you again, then obviously one of us has to die. And so it must be you. And she started to try and choke me.
Oh my God.
Now, she's a small person. Okay. Meaning, I mean, she's a grown person, but I'm 220 pounds. I mean, she's probably 110 soaking wet. So I'm not in physical, at no point did I feel like I was in some kind of physical danger. What was going through my head, though, is I wasn't staying in a hotel per se. I was staying in a private club as a guest of another former Scientologist.
Okay.
And I'm very aware at that time that, yes, I might morally and privately be able to have relationships with whoever I want to. But the world, who knows me just parasocially, sees me as a normal married guy. And Scientology certainly takes advantage of the fact that the world sees me that way, which is why they think they can try to humiliate me on the website by characterizing me as just a philanderer.
Right.
And I'm in LA covering a rape trial. And I said to myself in my mind, if the police show up to this hotel with a half-dressed woman in my hotel room,
Yes.
involved in some sort of a physical altercation,
Yeah.
my life is over.
Yes.
I cannot survive that. And so what's going through my mind here is, how am I going to get the two of us out of this building without someone calling the police? And at the same time, what's going on there, simultaneously, the thought is, I cannot call anyone for help. I can't ask for help. This is on. I have to figure this out. I can't call the police. I can't call the police and be like, there's someone in my hotel room who's destroying the place. Like, the last thing I can have happen here is for the police to show up.
This is the LAPD. So,
Yeah.
and we know the connection between LAPD and Scientology and
Okay. And also, I'm a big guy. No one's
Yes.
going to believe that some tiny little woman is abusing this big guy.
Yes.
Okay. So, and also what I'm thinking is, this will thoroughly humiliate my wife, who most people in her life don't even know about our marital status.
Absolutely.
Okay. She starts throwing. Okay, so she grabs my neck, because I know people are going to think, oh, did you hit her in self-defense? I never laid a finger on this girl. Not a finger. If only out of sheer terror that if I did and something happened, the police would show up and I'm going to fucking jail.
Yes.
Okay. Because she's so small, like when she has her arms around my neck, I'm just grabbing her wrists and I'm trying to de-escalate. I'm trying to be like, oh God, just please stop. Calm down. Please calm down. Okay. The de-escalation and diplomacy skills that I brought to bear in this situation would solve the Middle East conflict. Okay.
Okay.
She's throwing water. She's throwing food. She's hitting me in the face and head. She's trying to break my lights. She's picked up my whole computer to try to throw it. I grabbed her. Okay.
Oh my God.
She grabs my microphone, which isn't on one of these stands. It's on one of the heavy metal stands, because I was in the hotel, right?
Uh-huh.
You know, these things are like a fucking 10-pound metal mic stand. She
Right.
throws the mic on the floor.
Oh my.
Okay. Now, I, at this point, am just trying to calm her down, but I have no idea how I'm getting us out of this hotel room. Okay. It just so happens that I look down at I look down at my foot, and my big toe is sliced wide open and bleeding like fucking crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Now, feet bleed really bad. Okay. I've never had a cut like that on my foot, and I couldn't see the cut. I could just see blood all over my foot. And I'm panicking at this point, because I don't know if I don't know what's going on with my toe. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go to the bathroom and I put my foot in the bathtub, thinking, okay, the blood will just rinse off. And it's just bleeding like a son of a bitch. And now the tub is full of like blood water. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Now, if someone shows up, no one knows whose blood is in the bathtub.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, and my toe won't stop bleeding, and I'm freaking out. Like, I can't stand the sight of blood. But then it occurs to me that this is the only way I have to get her to leave the hotel room is to beg her to help me go to the ER to get my toe fixed.
Oh man.
Okay. Now, as after my toe is already cut wide open and bleeding, and I don't know how bad the damage is, and I'm begging her, please get dressed and help me get to the ER. She pulls out her cell phone and starts to record me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to survive this. And so I reach towards her phone and I just say, I don't want to be recorded. I don't want to be recorded. She turns around so that her back is to me, and she puts the camera facing us. And so now I'm like reaching over her shoulder, like, I don't want to be recorded. I don't want to be recorded. I'm reaching for the phone because I'm like, the last thing I need is a goddamn video of this. Okay. And I'm reaching over her shoulder. I said, I don't want to be recorded. I don't want to be recorded. And she's saying, it's for me. It's for me. I grab the phone and she goes full beast mode. So I drop the phone. Because I'm like, I'm trying to de-escalate. Okay. But by grabbing the phone, like, shit was about to get very, very real. So I dropped the phone. And my understanding, what I believed to be the case, was that I couldn't remember if the phone was facing up or facing down, but I believed that it was still recording because I don't believe anyone managed to hit the record button again. I believed that phone was still recording on the floor.
Oh.
And I said, okay, well, the best I can do is just continue to beg her to help me go to the ER. And that's what I did. Now, subsequent, and I'll tell you what happened next, but subsequent to this, what she did was to take like 3 seconds of her from behind her and reaching for the phone and saying, I don't want to be recorded.
Okay.
And she sort of took the sound off of the video and looped it so that it just looks like we're having some sort of a physical confrontation. And there's no context, so nobody knows what the hell's happening. But it looks like me, and it looks like a girl, and it looks like something unfriendly is going on, and it just looks like a physical confrontation. And I guess to the extent that I'm trying to grab her phone, it's it's a confrontation. Okay. It still takes me about a half hour to get her to agree to leave with me and try to go to the ER and come downstairs and let's leave together.
Okay.
Even as we're walking down the hallway to the elevator, she's shouting and she's hooting and hollering. And the more I tell her to please, people are sleeping. Please, people are sleeping. She's threatening to go back to the hotel room. And I'm like, I cannot leave you here. I need to go to get my toe fixed. I need you to come with me.
Right.
Eventually, we go down the elevator. We go through reception. We get out of the building. Now, I didn't really want to go to the ER because I'm not a guy who goes to doctors really. And also, I don't need a $10,000 ER bill. But I said, okay, let's go to the CVS. The CVS is about 3 blocks down. This is downtown LA, maybe 7th. I got to look it up. I want to say 7th and Broadway, but 7th and something. We are talking downtown Los Angeles, Thursday morning, maybe 6:30, 7 a.m. at this point. The sun is up. The city is in motion. Like this is not the middle of the night. This is not in the middle of nowhere. We are in downtown LA. The city is awake. People are on the sidewalks. We're in the full view of everyone, cameras, people. Okay, real life.
Wow.
I go, okay, come with me to CVS. I'm going to get some first aid stuff. I'm going to get some gauze, some Neosporin, and some tape. And I put 3 socks on my foot because it's bleeding like crazy still. I'm putting 3 socks on my foot and I'm, limping to the CVS.
Wow.
We get into the CVS. Someone's trying to text me. Let me put on do not disturb.
No worries.
Okay. We get into the CVS. She's acting like an absolute maniac. I asked the security guard to please keep her away from me. The security guard's like a 65-year-old woman who's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. Okay, I get all the stuff. I go to check out. We go outside of the CVS, and I realize I haven't actually gotten rid of her. I need to get rid of her. What? Okay, so I go, look, you're not coming back to the hotel with me. I'm going to call you an Uber. You've got to go home. You've just threatened to kill me a couple times. You've literally assaulted me and cut me wide open. You've tried to destroy the hotel room.
Yeah.
You're not coming back with me. Give me your address. I'm calling you an Uber. She gives me the address. I call the Uber. It takes about 10 minutes for the Uber to get there. As we're waiting for the Uber, she's, oh my, am I really never going to see you again? Please, I've got my arm out. I'm like, stay away from me. Do not, you do not come near me. You stay away from me. I'm asking people, you know, because the city's open, like businesses are open, you know, out on the streets of LA, you'll have people standing outside the businesses, you know, sometimes like, I don't know, there's people, I'm like, can you please come here and keep this person away from me? And they're like, we can't get involved.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Okay. She goes, oh, am I really never going to see you again? Am I really never going to see you again? Please, I just want one last kiss, one last hug. Is this really the last time I'm going to see you again? And I'm just like, stay away, stay away, stay away. As the Uber is pulling up, she goes, just give me one last kiss. And she jumps on me and puts her arms around my neck. Like, if I recall correctly, she's sort of behind me here, right? But she's got her arms wrapped around my neck. She's basically hanging off of me. Okay. I grab her wrist and I go like this to get her off of me. And she pulls like one of these LeBron James flops. Uh-oh, did we freeze? Are we good? Can you see me?
Yeah, your internet's going in and out. I can see you, Aaron. Can you see me?
Okay. I can see you. It just looked like I was glitching for a bit.
You were glitching for a minute.
So all I did was pull, I mean, she's a small person, so she has small wrists. So, and it was probably made worse by the fact that she probably was not supporting all of her weight on her own feet because she's kind of hanging from me. Okay.
Right.
So I grab her wrist and I pull it off of my neck. And she does, and falls into the building that we're standing next to, which was the CVS that we were just in.
Oh,
now, this is one of those old, you know, downtown LA buildings, like everything's like sharp edges and marble or granite or whatever. And she falls and she stumbles and she falls into the building. And I see her head hit one of the corners of this building.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And my first thought was, oh, fuck. That actually looked pretty bad. Meaning the impact actually looked pretty bad. And my second thought was, this is my chance to get away. And I start very quickly walking away back to the hotel. Okay. I hear her start screaming my name. And I look back and she is up and running after me, screaming my name on the sidewalks of downtown LA on a Thursday morning with the sun shining. And I'm like, I'm in a fucking movie right now.
Oh my God.
I start running away from this 110-pound girl. I'm sprinting down the streets of Los Angeles away from someone who's pursuing me and screaming my name.
With a bloody foot.
Well, I've got the bloody foot. She apparently, would have a bloody head. Okay. And I'm thinking to myself, no one's going to believe a word of this. No one's going to believe a fucking word of this. This is insane. So I get back to the hotel and I get back up to my room. By the time I get there, she's already sending me pictures of the cut on the top of her head. Look what you did to me. And I'm like, wow. Now, at the time, I'm still being a little naive about what the fallout of this is going to be. I just block her on everything. I just block her number, block her on Twitter, just everything. Within hours, she is texting and emailing and Instagram messaging everyone who's ever been on my YouTube channel, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in my Facebook group,
Oh my God.
all of the Aftermath Foundation board members. Now, the email to the board members was specific because
She emailed the board members too?
Oh, yeah. Here's what's you're going to find amazing. She emailed the board members saying, and this is almost verbatim, Aaron beat the shit out of me in his hotel room with his fists, blood and bruises everywhere. She said, I would never involve the police because I wouldn't want to get Aaron into trouble. All I want is for him to be removed from the board of the Aftermath Foundation. And you go, on its face, it's absurd. On its face, it's absurd. Wait. You're saying he literally just beat you up, but all you want is for him to be removed from the board of the Aftermath Foundation. What? Like, even on its face, that is absurd. And if anybody questions whether that's what the email really said, I will be happy to publish the email. Now, I'm not going to say the girls for people who were supposed to be your friends made you out to be the bad guy in this situation. Now, someone might go, hey, look, this is just really careless behavior for someone on the board of a nonprofit foundation. Guys,
That's
you
a
can
target.
someone can
You're a
have your
target.
opinion about that, but it's like the foundation is just a vehicle to raise money and spend money. It's not an entity that exists to serve as an example of the right way to live, or how to live by traditional spiritual values, or how to properly it's not some big moralizing thing.
Right.
And it's like, did I commit a crime there? There's no crime that's committed there. And it has nothing to do with the Aftermath Foundation other than the fact that Mark and Claire and Mike are embarrassed to be associated with someone who is doing and saying things and getting involved in situations that they find embarrassing.
Right.
That's all that happened in LA. Now, I've seen some people speculate of, oh my God, you really got out of town quickly after that. This incident happened on Thursday morning. I didn't leave LA until Saturday afternoon. If I had just beaten the snot out of some poor girl and was afraid that the police would come knocking on my door, I could have gone right to the airport and left town.
All right, guys. So this is where I have some issues. He talks about this woman that he hooks up with in California. I don't think she's a plant. I think she's a stalker. I think that she found Aaron online. She might have envisioned a future with Aaron online. She doesn't know that Aaron is separated from his wife. So as far as she knows, if they hook up, he's cheating on his wife. So there's your blackmail that he gave her. He gave her that information. And he also knew that she was crazy. Not that the institution stuff, which he mentions, that she was institutionalized, but that she talks way too much. Leah met her, and the bells went off for Leah. So he didn't care. He didn't really like her. She was annoying, but he wanted to have sex. Okay, 3 different times he wanted to have sex. But then he makes a big deal when the woman behaves crazy. And I'm going to believe Aaron's story, even though I shouldn't, because the other story about in Clearwater is totally different, and we're going to get into that. Unfortunately, this is going to be a 2-part video because I got to get this up. It's 4 o'clock in the morning already. And I don't do live videos, so it takes me a minute. But more important is this. All the bells and whistles go off with her, and he still wants to sleep with her. And he brings her back to a place that somebody's loaning to him, a crazy person that's already annoying him, that doesn't shut up. He's got mushrooms. He admits in the chat that they're doing mushrooms and that they're drinking. and he takes her to a place that somebody's loaning him as a favor. They get into a big fight. And I'm sorry, but I don't think for a minute, while they're both on substances, alcohol too, while that's going on, and Aaron is nicely saying, please let me go to sleep. Please just let me go to sleep. Just let me go. I don't believe he's being that calm. Who would be that calm? If you've said a few times, let me go to sleep, then just leave, then just leave. You're going to raise your voice. And he's a bigger guy than she is. And that's another thing. I used to be about that size. I used to be about that size and 110 pounds. And I have a friend around the size of Aaron that Aaron actually reminds me of. And my friend, we used to mess around. He would put his hand out. I couldn't reach him. So Aaron couldn't control this, and he didn't want to call the police because of the way it would look. Or what? Because there was blood in the bathtub from his toe? Okay, and they wouldn't know whose blood it was? If you're the only one bleeding, Aaron, they know it's yours. If she's bleeding, he says he didn't put his hands on her, not a finger on her, but he just grabbed her wrists when she had him around his neck. Now, he could have easily moved her outside, closed the door, and called the police. You already had a ruckus going on there. Things were already broken. So I don't understand why you had to take her out of the place. But okay, so you guys go out of the place. Why didn't you just leave her? Why'd she have to go to CVS with you? I mean, if she's pulling on you and stuff like that, then you're outside. You call the police. You say that you got assaulted, Aaron, and I believe that this woman probably went crazy. I believe your story. Here's the thing. Here's the problem that I have with your story. Besides the red flags that didn't matter to you, you brought her somewhere knowing that she was a little off. You brought substances to that place. You didn't want to call the police because you didn't know how it was going to look, yet you invited all that in. So to me, I think that's very, very parallel to somebody who has sex, unprotected sex. They wake up with an STD and they say, oh yeah, that could have happened. That makes sense that that happened. I don't necessarily deserve that that happened, but I can understand how that happened. I let that happen. Thank God I'm not pregnant. Now when I say, thank God you're not pregnant, because you're right. That woman, she could have turned around and she could have sued you and got you for sexual harassment. And how do you protect your wife from that? How do you protect your children from that? How do you protect the board from that? Why should any of these other people suffer? Is this still somebody's personal time when all of this happens and these people are involved? There are plenty of people out there that live their lives and embarrass their children, embarrass their partners, because they don't think, oh gee, this affects other people. Now, everybody thinks Aaron's happily married, or at least married, and this is the way he's behaving. So when people think that he's cheating on his wife, he gave us the scenario to think he's cheating on his wife. I don't understand how it could be seen differently. I don't understand how he's not responsible for this. I think that the woman said something about the board because she knew how important that board was to Aaron. And I think Aaron might have said, listen, you can't tell anybody. I'm really not with my wife. I don't want to get off the board. They're threatening me with kicking me off the board. And that's what I think happened there. That's what I think happened there. Maybe I'm wrong, but that to me makes sense. And here's the thing. We need some Judge Judy on this. because she would see right through it. She would call all of this out. And I'm calling it out. So we're going to stop there. We're going to start the next video, which will go up today. I promise you, it's going to go up today. And then we're going to address the issues with how the board handled it. Okay? So please like, subscribe. If you think that I'm speaking from an honest place, listen. I know Aaron grew up in a cult. But he's got to see things for the way that they are. You know what I'm saying? None of this makes Aaron a bad person. You know that, right? I don't think Aaron's a bad person. But I think he should own up to things. That's what I think. He should own up to things. I think he has done wonderful things for the Aftermath Foundation. And nobody should take that away from him. And I think it's heartbreaking that he lost friendships that were probably better than any friendships he has right now. And as somebody who used to work in substance abuse and in jail, I'm concerned about Aaron. Because if he doesn't get it, especially with what he says at the end of the other video, I mean, that's just heartbreaking. And we're going to talk about it. So guys, thanks for allowing me to be part of your day. Catch me on part 2. All right, guys. Thanks. This is Pt.1 Skip, and I'm out right now. Don't forget to be better today than you were yesterday, but not half as good as you're going to be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.